Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for following us on our live stream event at CJ Legal Services Vietnam. My name is VIêN. With me today is lawyer Pierre-Étienne. He's the full-time lawyer working at our office in Ho Chi Minh City.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for coming today. Pierre-Étienne and I will update you on the news of the Federal Skilled Worker Express Entry Stream. This is the program that allows candidates to apply for direct PR without going through any temporary visa in Canada. So the candidate will rely solely on their personal profile, which included their age, education background, language skill, and also working experience. This program doesn't require candidate to have a big fund or finance fund, or they don't require to have working employment offer from any Canadian employers. So this program also considered as one of the most economic fees and also faster processing time comparing to the entrepreneur programs.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Annie. I mean, skilled worker programs are meant to attract young and educated people to Canada. And actually, contrary to the general belief, Express Entry is not an immigration program in itself. It's rather an online system that was developed by Immigration Canada to process the applications of skilled workers, those that apply under three specific programs that we'll name later on. Also, one of the key unique features of the Express Entry platform is its pool of candidates. And so once you apply through one of the three programs, you become part of a pool. And so people at home might have heard of some draws that take place from time to time. You know, a few thousands people selected and invited to apply for permanent residence. Well, these are people that are most likely taken from the Express Entry pool of candidates.
So then how can the prospective immigrant actually enter this pool of candidates that you're talking about?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Well, the way it works usually is you first start by completing a profile online, Express Entry profile. After the submission of that profile, Immigration Canada will review if you meet the minimum requirements of at least one of the three following programs. So the Federal Skilled Worker Program, the Federal Skilled Trades, and the Canadian Experience Pass. The Federal Skilled Worker Program being the most popular by volume. I'll tell you maybe a little bit the requirements. So you must show at least CLB 7 fluency in either French or English, two official languages of Canada. You must have at least 1 year of skilled work experience in the past 10 years. Skilled work experience being a job in at least NOC, O, A, or B. So if it's NOC, C, or D, it would be not qualified as being skilled work and would not be deemed eligible. You must also pass a score grid under which you must have at least a score of 67. And finally, you must have at least the equivalent, the Canadian equivalent of a high school.
Do you think that the programs that in the Express Entry stream will be the main primary stream that where the government of Canada actually attract more talent in the future?
Indeed, and the Canadian government has announced so. So every year, the Canadian government published a 3-year immigration plan. And according to the recent one, Canada plans on admitting at least 400,000 new immigrants per year. So for 2021, 2022, and 2023. And at least 25% of those 400,000 new immigrants will be exclusively sourced from the Express Entry programs that I just mentioned. So the Federal Skilled Worker Program, Federal Skilled Trade, and Canadian Experience Class. The remainder of that amount, so the 300,000 plus that's missing, will come from other economic immigration programs, but also from family reunification and the refugee programs, for instance.
So So actually around Tet holidays, we heard a very big news on the largest draw ever happened on the express entry system, that on the 13th of February 2021, more than 27,000 people actually selected to apply for the PR through the express entry stream. So this is the first ever we have seen. So do you have any comments on the situation, and also why there is such a big draw that happened this year?
Yes, I mean, such an important historical draw, if I may say. I mean, it has drawn a lot of attention. So, I mean, why have they invited 27,000 people, right? This is, largest ever draw. That's a good question. Well, to me, I mean, the draws usually invite from 2,000 to 5,000 people. And so such an incredible number, why? To me, this really shows the commitment of the Canadian government to reach the specific immigration targets I just talked about. And so since the processing time of a skilled work application varies, but usually around 1 year, people selected maybe last year will become admitted as permanent resident this year. So if they want to reach 100,000 new immigrants, while coping with the new travel restrictions and so forth, they must start inviting people. And so on the one hand, the Canadian government must cope with very high, ambitious immigration targets, and on the other end, they must deal with very important travel restrictions. Because one must bear in mind at the moment that even though if you're approved for permanent residency, if you're outside of Canada, unless you qualify under the current travel exemptions, which most people don't, well, you cannot travel to Canada to activate your PR and become an official permanent resident. So what did the Canadian government do? Well, they invited over 27,000 people, which is substantial. Building on what I was saying, now what's next for the rest of the year? Well, if they want to admit at least 100,000 people from these programs next year, they must select, around that same number this year. And so now, if they've selected up to 30,000 people up until now, since the beginning of the year, well, where is the rest going to come from? Good question, right? So, in my opinion, it's very likely that the draws will resume for the federal skilled worker programs, for instance. Otherwise, they risk not reaching their immigration targets in the coming years.
So, do you have any insight for actually Vietnamese people who are at home right now, wishing to try their luck with the immigration programs of the express entry?
If I have one key takeaway for the people at home, is that you never know. So, although for the federal skilled worker program, the recent cutoff score, so the last person selected had a score of, it's recently over 470, a bit higher, a bit less maybe. So that score, it's historically high. If I remember correctly, back in 2017, the lowest person selected was around 413. So this is what I'm saying, it's historically high nowadays. When I say you never know, is that if your profile is not in the pool, and such an important draw like this under the CC program just took place, the larger the draw, the lowest the cutoff score of the person selected. And so when such an important draw takes place, if your profile is not in the pool, well, you might have just missed out on your chance to apply for permanent residency in Canada. That's why I say you never know.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time today, Pierre-Étienne. Thank you for watching us on our live stream today at CJ Legal Services Vietnam. We hope that our information helped you to make the decision in the future. Please follow us on our social media channels to acquire more accurate information on immigration programs. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you.